My name is Elena. I used to live in a big, noisy city. I had a job at an advertising company. I worked long hours. I wore high heels every day and smiled at people I didn't know. I answered emails, made presentations, sat in meetings for hours. People thought I was successful, but deep inside, I felt tired. Every day was the same. Wake up, work, eat, sleep. I didn't laugh much. I didn't cry either. I was like a machine. I lived on the 14th floor of a modern apartment building. It had big windows and cold white walls. Everything looked perfect, but it didn't feel like home. Some nights I stood by the window and watched the city lights. There were thousands of lights, so many people, but I felt so alone. My friends were also busy. We didn't meet often. We sent messages, short ones. How are you? Busy. Same. That was it. I told myself, this is just how life is. But one day something changed. It was a Sunday. I had no meetings, no calls. I woke up and didn't know what to do. The silence felt strange. I went to the kitchen to make coffee, but I dropped the cup. It broke into pieces. And suddenly I started crying. Not because of the cup, but because I felt empty. That day, I sat on the floor for hours. I asked myself, is this the life I want? And the answer was no. So I made a decision. I took time off work, first 2 weeks, then I didn't go back. I sold my apartment. I packed one suitcase. No big plan, no big goodbye. Just me leaving. I traveled by train for hours. I didn't even know exactly where I was going, but I followed the mountains. I followed the sea. And then I found it, a small village on the coast. It was quiet. Old houses with red roofs, fishermen by the docks, children riding bicycles, cats sleeping in the sun. I rented a little house with blue shutters and a garden. There's no television, no elevator, no noise. The first few days were hard. I didn't know anyone. No work, no emails, no schedule. But slowly I began to breathe again. I woke up with the sun. I made tea and sat in the garden. I watched the sky change colors. I listened to the birds. I read books I'd never finished. And I began to paint. At first, just shapes. Then flowers, boats, skies, people. I painted how I felt. I painted freedom. One afternoon, a woman named Sophia saw me painting by the sea. She was kind, with gray hair and a warm smile. You should teach the children, she said. Teach them to paint, to see beauty. I was surprised. Me? I'm not a real artist. But she said, you have heart. That's what matters. So I began teaching. Once a week at the community center, we used old brushes and cheap paper. But the children laughed. They made colorful messes. They reminded me that art is not about perfect lines. It's about joy. Months passed. Seasons changed. I planted flowers in my garden. I baked bread, slowly learning. I helped my neighbor fix her roof. I wrote letters to my mother. I met Marco, a local man who worked at the bakery. He brought me fresh bread and stories. He was simple, honest, and kind. We talked for hours about music, nature, and quiet things. We didn't fall in love fast, but one evening he held my hand while we walked by the sea. And I knew this was something real. Now it has been 3 years. I still live in that little house. I still paint. I still teach. I still wake up to the sound of birds. Sometimes I look back to that cold apartment, to the meetings, to the emails, and I whisper to myself, thank you, Elena, for being brave. Because I didn't just change my home, I changed my life. I found myself again. And I learned the most important thing. You can always start over. You can begin again at any age. You are not a tree. You can move, you can grow. Now, my life is quiet but full. And every morning, I smile because I chose this life and I love it. Advertising, making or sharing messages to sell things like commercials or posters. Presentation, when you speak or show something to a group of people. Feel like home, to feel comfortable, safe, and relaxed in a place. Shutters, wooden or metal covers for windows. You're not a tree, a saying meaning you can move and change your life.